All right, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, it's time for our conversation right now. Earlier on, I did say that I'll be speaking with the power regulator himself, Professor James Momoh. He's the chairman at the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. They are the regulators of the electricity market in Nigeria, just like you have the CBN for the banks. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So, Prof, it's good to have you on the program. Welcome to the show. Now
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Let's get started with the meter assets providers. That's the MAP. We're expecting, I'm saying we're expecting, or we expected a rollout of meters from May 1st.
Yeah.
How far so far? Let me start with that.
Okay. Meter asset provider is, as you know, is a regulation methodology that NERC put together to improve the quality of life for Nigeria in terms of providing electricity at a cost that based on what they have used and at the actual price of what power is used in different homes in Nigeria. At the end of all the bidding process, we set a target that by May 1st, all the DISCOs and the MAP providers, the asset providers, which we call the MAPs, that's meter asset providers. They are the one who now will provide the meters on behalf of DISCOs for the customers of that are enumerated and approved to be a customer who wants to pay for the energy they use, right? So May 1st is an estimated time that we said by May 1st, we've given you permit, go ahead and start providing meters to customer. So that time is also very important because it means that starting May 1st, which has started, all the MAPs and their DISCOs of their choice or who selected them have sat down together, come up with a timeline, a target that is within every 1 month. Say, for example, they'll be able to meter X number of meters. Let's say 200, 2,000, 200,000. If that is what the agreement says between the meter asset provider and the DISCO, that will be the number starting May 1st, that within 1 month, we will be able to do this much in a particular area of the franchise of the asset owned by the DISCOs. So it's very simple mathematics. So if I say I'm going to do 50, let's say in my timer here, then I should be able to do that 50 by next week. If I say I'm going to do 200 in 2 weeks, I should be able to do 200. That number is signed. That number is approved by NERC. And we're going to monitor that number and follow that number. And if there's a DISCO that failed to meet that target, of course, there will be sanction. I think that's why we are confident that the number May 1st is realistic, is reasonable, and it has started, I'm sure. But I'm not saying by May 1st, all Nigerians will receive meters.
Okay, now May 1st has passed.
Yes.
What's the feedback to NEC? How far?
Well, so far, we know that the MAP providers who commit to do this have already they have started. And of course, we believe that in a month's time, we will know how many they have done and whether they made the particular target they said. So far, there are no problems. There are no complaints. Nobody is complaining. No meter rollout is in trouble. No one has come to us and said, gee, I made a mistake. Well, believe me, they couldn't make mistake. Because first of all, when we gave them that permit that day, I gave it out. We said, look,
I think that was in the month of April.
Yeah, there was an irrevocable performance bond between us and them, where they must all satisfy. So I think it's going to work out. It has to work out, because DISCO also want to see it done. They've been wanting to do this. But thank God for the asset providers who come at the right time to make up the difference for where a DISCO couldn't have done it by itself. And now there's somebody else in the middle, an investor, who said, I have this money, I want to put my money in providing meter for Nigerians. Wow. So it's a win-win.
So is it a game changer? Is it, the way you're saying it now, is it what we've been waiting for in terms of changing the game?
I think it is a game changer. There will be less complaint now for customer. Customer will not go and say, this crazy bill, this estimated bill, look at me, I've only been in my house for only 4 hours in a month or in a week, in a day, and I'm receiving $18,000, 18,000 naira bill. Answer is no. You only pay for energy you use. You use it for 4 hours, you turn everything off, that's how much you will pay. So it's a game changer. In fact, I wish it's been around all along. What did we do wrong? Why did we just wake up? Are we reacting? No, it's because opportunity cost. There's a need now. Nigeria need it. Somebody is willing to provide it. So somebody has then go to do it. That is it. There's a need. There's a market need. And there are people who want to provide the gap. They want to fill in the gap. And we say, go ahead, do it. That's what is going to change this country in every area. There must be a need. There must be those people who will come forward and say, I would like to participate. I want to solve Nigerian problem. And we'll give them the, typically for a regulator, our job is to encourage business. It's also to make sure that life is better than we met it. It's to improve the quality of life for all Nigerians. Quality of life for me, for you. And if electricity is going to touch life, it's going to touch communication, it's going to touch the health in the hospital, it's going to touch schools, because there will be laboratory, it's going to touch small businesses, it's going to touch opportunity for us to do local businesses. Wow, I need it. I need it yesterday.
But if you're saying this is the game changer, and this will stop estimated billing and all of that, but the discos have said times without number that the estimated billing is based on next methodology already.
Well, we have just come in now. We just came out. In fact, I just returned from Lagos just here last night, where a regulation that we pass has to go through public consultation. And we've gone around now. We've gone to Lagos, Ikeja. We were in Ikeja, about 350, almost 400 people were in the hall. And we did the same thing in Lagos Island. Okay, almost 200 people came. So what we're doing in our regulation, when we set up a regulation, we have to get, we put it out on the website, and ours is posted now. For anyone to write for or against, give us feedback, and then we go around from state to state, from zonal area, from different parts of the country. At the end of the day, the methodology we're coming up with is called capping. That capping will allow you to put a max on how much a customer can pay, should pay for electricity if you don't meter that customer. What do I mean? So you don't meter me, don't meter me now. If you don't want to meter me, look at it. Here is I have only, the room I use, it's only one TV, one refrigerator, one cooking set, machine. So what am I going to do? So you've already, in the last 3 months, the amount of power I use is only like 4,000, all right?
Yes.
So your average is 4,000. Since you refuse to meter me, you cannot charge me for more than 4,000 for a single family room. If I have a household, what it does is that it puts a maximum on how much you can charge. Even if I use more,
but this,
you are at a loss as a disco.
Yes.
Even if I turn my house and become like using it for a small shopping center, a small corner store, you still can't charge me more because you refuse to meter me. So it's also an indirect way of forcing, encouraging discos to meter customer. So capping is a bridge. It's also like, I would say, it's the one that ensure that you don't keep charging me any crazy bill.
How long does that cap me means? And that cap me is a credited advance payment for metering implementation.
Oh, that is the old one.
So that's what I wanted you to clarify.
That one was abused.
Because
that was abused.
Yes, that was also a metering scheme that did not work.
It did not work, but this one is out there for conversation.
So what did you call it? Because they're almost together.
It's CAPIN, capping.
Okay.
Not capping, not that one.
Yeah, because that's why I wanted you to clarify it, because that did not work. Yes.
It didn't work. It was gamed. It was abused. And at the end of the day, people's money were in the bank. They were not getting the credit they thought they would get. That is why we came back and said, wow, if it doesn't work, why not change it? So we change it. The one that says now we will have a declared number of units, what makes up a residential customer, R1 type customer, what makes up a commercial customer, or a business customer, or an industrial customer. So those are all the things that capping will not capture. So it means that I'm a residential customer. I don't use my room for more than 3 hours a day. The maximum that should be that You have calculated the energy per kilowatt, per hour, per day, right? Yeah. And I already know that, okay, estimated, this guy only has one appliance in his room. So we have already agreed that that is the minimum and the best you can charge me. Or the maximum, minimum. I like to say the maximum, but it's the mean at the end, you can't charge more than that. So what does he do? If I now double my energy use, you are only going to charge me the same amount.
Yes, because I was coming to that. If you double your energy use with this capping now,
yeah, you're at a loss.
So that means it's an indirect way of encouraging the MAP, that is in terms of discos right now rolling out meters through.
That's a simple way of I'm not saying punishing, but it's a simple way of carrot and stick approach. You don't do it, you're at a loss. You do it, you win. Customer also win, right? Because regardless, if I have meter, then I can even say, look, I want to turn all my appliances off during the day, which I should, because I go to work, and if I come in the evening, I'm in my little room with my TV set, with my laptop, doing my work, right? So I save money. So at the end of the day, at the end of the month, I may end up not using more than 4,000-5,000 naira per month. So everybody is happy. So I might even develop energy efficiency methodology, which may be that how do I reduce energy waste in my home? If I have washing machine that is old and inefficient, I get rid of it so I can save energy. So I reduce losses. Losses mean I reduce costs on my part. I can also say, look at the lamps. I would like to change all of this to energy efficient bulbs. So it's a win-win. And then look at what it does. We can now ration all the limited power we have among almost 200 million Nigerians. Because if we have only the power we have now, all of us want to be wasteful, we want it just in time, we may not be able to go around. But we grow in the energy sector. The energy sector has to grow. The population of Nigeria is growing. And if it grows, we need energy to work, and therefore the energy requirement they will generate, transmit, distribute must also grow. So thank God Almighty, because finally the government under Buhari is putting money, resources to improve the asset, to improve generation, to improve transmission, even to assist the distribution company to be able to supply power to our homes. I
will come back to the value chain a bit later. Let me just pencil it down so that I don't forget. But if we take a look at this meter asset provider policy, under this, customers are supposed to pay about 36,991 naira 50 kobo for the single phase meter and 67,000 naira plus, for the three-phase. This includes both for the supply, installation, maintenance, and replacement of the meter, I guess, if there's any technical fault. The issue will be, how did we even arrive at that cost?
Oh, thank you very much. I was in the middle of it with my colleagues. My distinguished colleague, Commissioner Shati, I like him. So what we did, and the staff obviously, we first of all asked the MAP providers to come up with their own costs and negotiate at a bidding process with the DISCOs, all right? And they come up with different numbers. So we said, okay, we hear you. So we took the minimum of the bidders, the minimum. If somebody come up with 100,000, another one 50,000, another one 35,000. So we choose the minimum of all the bidders supply, the minimum of the minimums, and average it. I like the word average of the minimums, okay? So it means that we come up with a good number first among those who want to supply meters. Then we did a survey for information, even to customers in Nigeria. Maybe you even were a survey, I don't know. What are you willing to pay for a meter, given that you've been without meter where you've been overestimated, I'm hungry, you are hungry, because we are all upset when we know we are paying for what we don't use. Then we also went outside the country and took a look at what does it cost in South Africa, in China, in America, in Asia, all the other parts of the world, and see what people pay for meters. So we gather all this data from outside, data inside, and also manufacturers in Nigeria. Get the honest production cost of a meter. At the end of the day, we came up with that number. That number, when the meter provider came, they all came with bogus number. We said, sorry, here's the number. Beat it, plus or minus 5%. You can't, the door is open. And look what happened. They all came, they had us, they took a break and went out, had a cup of tea, and came back either the following day or 2 hours later and say, we are ready. So we clap for each other.
With that price?
With that price. I gave them the permit, it was signed, our lawyer signed for them, and they were gone. So everybody's happy. It's a win-win.
But that amount comes from the customer?
No, at the end, it's from us.
How?
How?
Yes.
Because we took the minimum of what they came up with, of what the bidders submitted. We took the minimum of the minimum. In other words, let's say there were 6 bidders.
Yes.
Everybody has their own minimum max. Some people say, I want to do 100, I want to do 50 in one particular. But it's okay. Your minimum is, if you're an outlier, we throw your minimum away. If your minimum is too high, it doesn't count. But we now say, okay, do a survey outside the country. What does a meter cost? We also do it in country. Those who are manufacturing meter, how much will it cost? So at the end, take all these numbers. It's from there we get our own recommended number that I think is also good for everybody, because I'm also a customer. So I need to pay less. I don't want to waste money on meter.
Do you think an average Nigerian customer will be able to pay that?
Well, first of all, I did maths very quickly. Yes, upfront cost is what you mentioned is 35,000 for the single phase. For the 63 is for the triple.
That's 67 for the double phase.
Yeah, for the three phase.
Yes.
That includes plus or minus 5% we've already given them.
Okay.
So there's no extra cost. Average Nigerian, if you look at us, when we are overcharged, estimated billing, crazy billing that comes to your house on a given month, 2 months, 3 months, for what energy you didn't use, you're actually paying more than that. And I'm saying that money that you pay for the meter, that meter is for the next 10 years. Let me say that even if you don't have 35,000, and let's just approximately that money, you can also do financing where you can finance the cost of that meter over 10 years. So if I take, let's just say 36,000, 36 divided into 12 months, all right, 36,000. 36,000 alone into 10 years first. That is only what? 36,000 becomes 360. Divide into 12. We're talking about 300 naira. That is only what it costs you per day, per month. 300 naira is a newspaper cost now. Newspaper on the street of Abuja.
Prof, you are talking with your own, perhaps with your own pockets, that you have 300 naira, because a lot of Nigerians still earn less than 300 naira a day. Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
Don't pay for it for you alone. And you don't know, very soon, pray that you grow and make more money. That's Nigeria, I'm praying. But people live together in Nigeria. When you have 4 or 5 people living in a home, in a room,
yes, it won't be difficult to get that.
It won't be difficult now. It won't be. I think, and also there will be loan. I'm sure the government one day soon, I'm not speaking, I don't know what's in the pocket of the government, but I know one day soon there will be opportunity for donor agencies to come and say, for the villagers who need meters, maybe we can help you a little bit, give you a little help. I'm praying that nobody will find this a difficult thing to do. So we will keep on looking for options too. I mean, I think next job is also to care not only for the rich, but also for the poor. And of course,
in fact, more of the poor, because the rich can afford.
Yeah.
Whatever
so whatever we do, I'm sure our brain is constantly thinking, what can we do to make people's lives better in Nigeria? And we are committed to this. We are committed. We have no choice.
Now, would you say that so far so good with this regulation right now, that we will begin to see I don't want to say, okay, let me put it this way, the fair price of electricity?
I think you will see it. The fair price is always debatable, because the fair price, the actual price of electricity, what is fair, is relative to Nigeria and to the countries all over the world. Okay, I think I should start with this. The law of large number, to me, set good prices for things. If I buy this cup, only it's manufactured for me, then I'll pay a lot of money. The more people that use electricity in Nigeria, the more residential, the more industry in Nigeria, the more commercial, energy costs will be going down. But if only few people are using electrons, only few people are using electricity, then it's going to constantly be, I generate, it takes a lot of energy to generate 1 kilowatt of power. But then when you don't use it, it becomes more expensive to use. So my goal, our hope is that the energy, the power sector energy supply that we're suggesting now is that over time, we will be able to account for the cost. Wow, how? Disco may be telling you or may be telling me, oh, it's not cost reflective because the thing should cost more. Yes, everybody can say so. But what is important is that if we are losing what we produce, then we are paying like we should not pay more. So we have to reduce inefficiency first. Inefficiency in the transmission, inefficiency in the distribution. Inefficiency in collection, inefficiency in the commercial. Theft has to be reduced to zero. We have to go after thieves. We have to make sure people pay, because those who don't pay are making it more difficult for disco. So all that is cumulative number that says, I need to charge more. You can't charge more if there is no theft. You can't charge more if there are no losses. You can't charge more if you have reduced your technical loss. And also the human efficiency. Because you pay for your service, you pay for the capital expenditures, the operational costs, O&M costs, which is the cost of paying for your staff, for the building. So if you become more efficient, then the cost will go down. So the actual cost, we cannot determine it until we get all those things right. So whatever we're doing now, I'm begging DISCO and GENCOs and regulators, let's working on getting the right price. But for now, we cannot afford to leave Nigerians in darkness because you want to charge me double. Look at the roads. I didn't pay to get here. People are paying for that. The government is paying for the roads. How much do we pay in taxes? Look at the hospital. The government is paying for the hospital. How much do you pay? So all this is part of the thing the government has put in to make sure at the end of the day, there's a societal benefit, the social good, now the good that becomes good.
The question now, Prof, would be, what is the component of human behavior or the role of human behavior in this electricity market? I hope you understand my question.
Yes, I do think human behavior in this electricity market, I have to define it in 3 ways. There are customers who have money they don't want to pay. That's bad behavior. There are those who want to steal. That's bad behavior. There are those who don't have money and they cannot pay.
Is that bad behavior? I don't have, I cannot pay. Will you kill me?
So no, that is what we're going to worry about, these categories. So the government has to provide assistance to those kind of people through what is called the renewable energy options, smart mini grids,
which
some assistance that the government is giving to in the unserved area, underserved. Those people will be charged very little, I'm sure. Now, the behavior of vandalism in Nigeria has to be a thing of the past. Why? Because our asset is a national asset. It's our grandparents' asset. It's your grandparents, it's my grandparents who put this together. And we can't get up in the morning and just see us damaging stuff, breaking the pipes, breaking the transmission line, vandalizing the transformers. It's a no-no because it costs so much to replace. We are not even manufacturing one in Nigeria. So we should value these things. We don't have the local content to replace a transformer overnight.
But we have local content for these meters.
We're going to do all this. So local content is everywhere. But we're going to talk about total ownership of design, production, and ownership by Nigeria for Nigeria. I'm going to talk about that. But the important thing is that this bad behavior of stealing power has to go. Damaging or vandalization of our apparatus, our national asset, has to stop. And effort to make sure that the system, the apparatus is safe, because also we don't want to lose life. So the behavior of caring for the apparatus by the DISCOs, by the transmission providers, by the generator provider, generation companies, in terms of safety, clean environment. That is why we recommend other resources of energy, like renewable energy, like based on wind, based on solar, based on biomass, that creates a new energy mix that will improve the quality of power supply in terms of making sure the environment is safe. Because we have to leave this environment better than we found it.
Now the
sustainability.
Yeah. The question also generating from what you said in terms of the ownership, the production, you just said we can't provide it, we can't produce a transformer here. But I'm interested that these meters that are going to be coming to customers now, are they indigenously made?
Okay. The law says also that all machineries, engineering apparatus, for example, there is a requirement by the federal government under President Buhari that at least we must have a 30% local content. Now, I'm praying that before the end of the fourth term, the 4 years of the next 4 years of President Buhari, it will not even be 30%. It will be 70%. 70%. 30% only because we don't have the skill, the infrastructure to manufacture our own electronics chips, for example. We don't have clean rooms where you make all these solid state materials. We don't have all the other technology that is based on high power electronics, for example. So at the minimum, we can do 30%. And all the people we are giving permit to become MAPs, they have satisfied the 30% minimum. Either is the assembling or the packaging of the different components of the meter, either is the testing of the batteries, testing of the meter also, making sure that the code is, the software that will be coded for the communication to take place, to secure the network, to secure the meter itself. That has to be locally made.
I'm interested in that because in that we should be creating a lot of jobs.
You have just hit you've said the right thing. This opportunity of this meter asset provider in Nigeria will create jobs. In fact, the last time I visited one of the meter asset provider in Lagos, Majek, for example, I was so glad to see young men and women, all right, doing all kinds of electronics or wiring, all right, doing the wiring, doing soldering, and writing code.
Of putting the meter
putting all of this together and testing it, creating jobs. So in fact, I wish all Nigerian students just see a typical lab. And every one of, I don't want to overpush engineering now, even though I'm a professor of engineering.
Yes, I know that. Yeah. So you have bias for that.
Yeah, bias. I will say that very soon there should be institutes all over the country training our young men and women
on how
to do that, to do this thing, and job will be created. It will be a multiple effect. I'm hoping one day soon people will go around. This is my neck card though. They will just go on the street. I would like to buy, just like now you buy recharge for your phone. So you start buying recharge for your meters on the street, creating jobs left and right.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. To that. Not also, next year.
Yes, it's also part of your responsibility as a regulator to make sure that there's an effective and efficient system that will make that possible. But let's come to the mini-grid issues. I know that less than 15% of Nigeria's population are connected to the main grid. And there are two types of mini-grid, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah, there's a standalone and there's a grid-connected mini-grid.
Isolated and interconnected, isn't it? What are the issues around this? Because these are supposed to be short-term measures.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Yours truly like the word mini-grid, but I will even advance it in this discussion to smart grid.
Oh, smart
grid.
That's
me and smart grid before coming to Nigeria.
Okay.
What is this small grid? It could be sizes of power. Pico grid, very small.
Less than 1 megawatt.
Yes, yeah. Then it's mini. Then it's in the future we're going to even have super grid. Okay. So at the voltage, different voltage levels defines the word grid. That means a grid that is connected. What's a grid? A supply, a wire, and the load. This connection of the load make the connecting wires. We refer to that as a grid. Connecting from a source to connected to a load. That's enough. Having said that, we are saying that we cannot transfer power from Egme all the way to my village in Edo State all the time. When only time we need it, we don't really, it may cost more. We might do that, we have to pay for the wires all the way. But if we can have a small grid in the village, we don't have to pay for the wires, that is the conductor overhead or underground. So we pay minimum, because the cost of electricity includes the supply, the transmission line, and of course all the installation, all the transformers, all the circuit breakers, all the relays. They will be reduced because I won't need large number. So the mini grid therefore provides option for us to reduce the cost, the number of apparatus, the sizes of apparatus, and the cost implication of the apparatus. And again, it is available just in time. And it can come from wind. That's the good thing about it. You don't need to say, I have no gas. From wind, it can come from solar, it can come from waste, which is biomass. And where there are some other type of options, you have a mixture of this. So you have your small grid. You can have it to support a hospital. You can support a shopping center. You can support a area type market. You can go to Sura market. All of a sudden, you can have all these things put together. And you can now increase access. You can also increase power. You can also increase reliability. Look at what they said. Just in time, what I call increased power supply at every village in Nigeria. That will also create jobs, locally made jobs. So that you are, so the mini grid can be standalone, and again you can connect it to the grid, so that when there is a shortage in the Shiroro, Afam type of what you can easily then tap into the mini grid that are connected, the grids that are connected to the main super grid. And then I want to talk about making it smart. In the US, before coming to Nigeria, I was designing, building smart grids. We had those grids that are either grid connected or they are standalone. I can make them smart. I can make them to have to behave like human. They can feel, you can communicate back and forth to them. They can see, because we can anticipate problems, and they can be pure energy. They can also reconfigure their states, and they can be resilient to attack, and they can be automated. I can put communication system around it, so that I can even use it for telephony and so on and so forth. It's coming soon. I will participate in that. So I will have a regulation on that one day.
You've heard it from Prof's mouth here the first time, so in case that's exclusive. I get you. That's an exclusive information.
Yes.
So not just exclusive. I think we will just take you up on that. So I'll be on your neck to see that that it happens. Okay.
I will have a book launch on that soon. I have the first book in America in that I was invited to write the very first book by IEEE in smart grid, and I've just advanced it to another area where it covered the entire supply chain.
Now, if you're taking a look at the value chain of electricity markets in Nigeria, what is the weakest link? Which is the weakest link?
I think the first thing is standard.
Oh, standard?
I must say that. You'll be shocked.
In the midst of all this?
It's the first thing. If you don't get standard right, you're wasting your time. You must have standard design that is obeyed and implemented and followed to the letter.
Because a lot of people have said discos are the weakest link.
Well, I will talk about disco, Genco, disco, anybody. I will discuss that. But if I don't have the standard right at all the supply chain, I'm in trouble. Okay. So communication between the supply chain, big headache. You see, I'm trying to stop by saying, oh, the weakest link is disco. That's everybody will say that. Have they worked in the power industry? I know that. I work there. I teach it. So let me start by the small thing first. Small things. I must standardize the operation. I must standardize the planning. I must standardize the coupling and communication between the sectors. In other words, the linkages between generating power plant, through the transformer, through the transmission line, through all the breakers, all the way to distribution feeders, and the substations. Then I can pick up one. Then I can say, after putting them right, whether it's bundled or unbundled, then I can say, the weakest link. We want is the weakest. If the supply is not there, it's very weak. There will be no power. If at the end of the day, I have invested money to generate power, and transmission is not there, I'm in trouble. Now, after doing all this, if the distribution company refuse to take power, or if they refuse to sell, if customer refuse to buy, then all this thing I've talked about is a joke. So that's why you will get people say the weakest link is Disco, because this is where we make money. And again, making money depends on standard. This is where we see the impact of electricity. The impact is what does it do. If I generate electricity, it's only to watch TV every day. It's a joke. Oh.
Okay.
Electricity should help me to build my industry.
Yeah. Should help you industrialize.
It has to do. So the weakest link, I think if we don't have also the manpower, the well-trained, dedicated, loyal Nigerians to the supply chain of electricity, I'm in trouble. So, Disco, let me start. We need to continue to equip our technologists, our engineers, and our system planning people to engage.
Okay, Prof, because we're coming to the end of the show.
Oh my God.
Yes, I can see that we can go on and talk. But I want you to speak lastly regarding eligible customers. Okay. Very quickly, we have to go.
Indirectly, I was actually touching eligible customers.
Customers, yes.
It's another form of supply that will be just in time for the captive, I would like to say captive load, captive customer, where in a particular area